WWE referees forced to roll unconscious Jimmy Uso out of the ring after SmackDown. The best and worst of SmackDown. WWE Raw star reacts to former stable reuniting without her. Seth Rollins goes 10-0 against top WWE star in 2023. Sasha Banks appears to share a massive hint minutes before WWE SmackDown. WWE makes major CM Punk announcement. Randy Orton attacked a WWE star backstage off-air. Jade Cargill attacks Randy Orton, and more. Let's jump right into it. The best and worst of SmackDown. The SmackDown after Survivor Series, War Games tested WWE friendships and factions. Logan Paul returned to announce a tournament to determine the next contender for his United States Championship. Additionally, CM Punk's return to the blue brand was announced for next week. Here's a list of the best and worst from the latest episode of SmackDown. Number 3. Best. Damage Control dismissed Bayley's contributions on SmackDown. Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky are the founding members of Damage Control. The trio made their iconic returns at SummerSlam 2022 and have worked as a stable ever since. In the weeks leading up to Survivor Series, War Games, Damage Control added 2 new members, Asuka and Kairi Sane. While everyone seemed to be getting along initially, Bayley was the odd one out. This week, Bianca Belair squared off against Kairi Sane in a singles bout. Before the match, Dakota Kai and other Damage Control members warned Bayley to not interfere in the match, which she eventually did, costing Sane in the process. Kai seemed to take on a leadership role, delegating duties to her teammates. The multi-time women's champion has been a heel for the past few years, and it seems a face turn is about to erupt on the surface. Number 2. Worst. Bobby Lashley facing Butch. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits seem to have a clear-cut path on their WWE futures in the initial days of their faction. As time progressed, the former tag team champions showcased dominance against other notable tag teams, while Lashley accompanied and mentored them. The trio were soon engaged in a feud with the El Duo under Rey Mysterio's leadership. A match between the Master of the 619 and the Almighty was teased for the United States Championship. However, plans changed when Logan Paul won the title at Crown Jewel. Eventually, as time progressed, the former WWE champion and his teammates kicked up a feud with the Brawling Brutes, Butch and Ridge Holland. This week, Lashley faced Butch in a completely annihilating match. Before they exchanged blows, the two had a word off, with the Almighty getting a positive reaction from fans. Given his rise last year as US champion and much more, a directionless storyline does not work in Lashley's favor. Number 1. Best. Randy Orton chooses SmackDown over Raw. The Bloodline were the sole reason behind Randy Orton's absence from WWE television for nearly 2 years. Despite being reported a free agent, the general managers of Raw and SmackDown created a special contract for the Viper to pick a brand to be associated with. Given his history with the Bloodline, it came as no surprise when the Viper chose the blue brand. As he was set to make it official, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa interrupted him and ended up being decimated by an irate Viper. Paul Heyman also walked out citing that he had no right to be there without Roman Reigns' permission. The WWE veteran made a decision on his brand of choice and ended up RKOing Nick Aldis too, in classic Randy Orton style, sending the Tribal Chief a bold statement. The undisputed WWE Universal Champion is not slated to make too many appearances before the 2024 Royal Rumble, thus making it the ideal stage for the two stars to revive their rivalry. Which part of SmackDown was your favorite? WWE Raw star reacts to former stable reuniting without her. A WWE Raw star has reacted to her former faction reuniting outside of the company. Sanity was a faction comprised of Nikki Cross, Alexander Wolf, Eric Young, and Killian Dane. The faction was popular in NXT, but their main roster run was a massive letdown. Nikki Cross is currently the only remaining member of the group still on WWE's roster. Her husband, former superstar Killian Dane, now known as Big Damo on the independent scene, shared a post of the former Sanity members reuniting in Progress Wrestling. He asked fans if they wanted to see more of the faction in a post on Instagram earlier today. Nikki Cross took to her Instagram story to react to the reunion of her former faction. She shared an image from their appearance in Progress Wrestling and added a heart emoji. Nikki Cross recently returned to WWE television, but Vince Russo is not a fan of how the promotion is booking her character. The 34-year-old star has seemingly been in a trance while appearing on Raw, and Vince Russo believes that the company is trying to make her look bad. Speaking on Sportskeeda's Legion of Raw show, the former WWE writer suggested that Cross get back at the company by completely buying into the gimmick they have given her. Bro, the only way you get back at them is when they do something like this to you if you don't sell it, and you take it even further. Bro, they put a dress on Big Vito because he was my friend. And what did Big Vito do, bro? He wore the dress to the airport. He wore the dress out to dinner. He wore the dress everywhere he went, and that stuck it so far up their backsides. Nikki Cross captured the Raw Women's Championship once while portraying the Nikki Ash character. However, she hasn't been in a position to challenge for a title as of late and has seemingly gotten lost in the shuffle in the women's division on Raw. Only time will tell if the former champion will be able to get back on track in the months ahead. Did you enjoy the Sanity faction? Would you like to see them return to WWE television down the line? Seth Rollins goes 10-0 against top WWE star in 2023. Seth Rollins picked up a big win over a top name after SmackDown went off the air tonight. Rollins recently feuded with Shinsuke Nakamura on WWE TV, and the duo battled for the World Heavyweight Championship on various occasions. The two veterans competed in another title match after SmackDown went off the air. Seth Rollins defeated Nakamura again to retain the coveted belt. With tonight's win, Rollins has now defeated Nakamura in 10 consecutive matches, pitting the two stars. Rollins successfully defended his World Heavyweight title against Shinsuke Nakamura at WWE Payback 2023. The same story repeated at two WWE live events shortly after the PLE. Rollins defeated Nakamura in a last-man-standing match for the World Heavyweight title at Fastlane 2023. This victory was followed by 6 more wins for Rollins at WWE live events. Rollins won the World Heavyweight Championship by defeating AJ Styles at WWE Night of Champions 2023 in Saudi Arabia. Here's what he said about winning the belt in an appearance on WWE's The Bump. "Nearly 4 years since I've held a World Heavyweight Championship. It's been a transformative 4 years. I'm a completely different person than I was the last time I held a World Heavyweight Championship. So this time it really does feel right. I'm excited to bring a world title back to Raw, a show that has sorely missed a world champion in quite some time, and I plan on defending that title, being present, being the man on Monday nights like I have been, but this time with a title on my shoulder," Rollins said. Rollins is Raw's top champion at the moment and delivers every week regarding in-ring competition. Now that CM Punk is back in WWE, many fans hope to see these two veterans go at it for the World Heavyweight title somewhere down the line. Have you enjoyed Rollins' title reign so far? Sasha Banks appears to share a massive hint minutes before WWE SmackDown. Former WWE superstar Mercedes Moné, also known as Sasha Banks, shared some cryptic images ahead of this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. After 10 successful years with the company, Moné made the choice to depart WWE last year following an incident where she and Naomi exited during a Raw episode due to creative differences with upper management. She has since established herself on Japanese professional wrestling scene in NJPW and Stardom. However, the boss recently shared several pictures on her Instagram story that might suggest a potential comeback. These images feature her wrestling Kairi Sane in NJPW, who recently made a return to the Stanford-based promotion at the Crown Jewel Premium Live event. One's closest friend, Bayley, has also repeatedly expressed her desire to have her former companion by her side. Hence, it will be intriguing to see if the former IWGP Women's Champion chooses to return to the Stanford-based promotion. Would you like to see Mercedes Moné back in WWE someday? 51-year-old star allegedly did everything in his power to protect CM Punk. A superstar seemingly wanted to protect CM Punk in a match after the latter received backstage heat. Punk wrestled his first ever televised WWE match on the April 11, 2005 taping of Sunday Night Heat. He teamed up with Russell Simpson, and the duo took on Maven and Simon Dean. In the end, Maven and Dean won the match after pinning Simpson. As per Maven, CM Punk had already garnered backstage heat before his first televised match in WWE. Officials wanted him to be on the receiving end of a pinfall in that particular match. Maven stated that Simon Dean, however, had other plans and wanted to protect Punk. This led to Simpson getting pinned instead of Punk. Nova Dean saw it differently. Nova wanted to give the guy a chance, and Nova made the decision. Earlier on, when we were discussing the match backstage, he said, "When I come in, I'm going to knock you out. Punk, you roll to the floor. That way we can get the slam on Simpson." I don't know why Simon wanted to protect Punk. He might have seen in Punk what the entire world would come to see years later. Simon was always a good gauge of talent. He might have known that Punk, for whatever reason, might have had heat backstage, and he was doing everything in his power to protect him. By 2013, Punk had become WWE's biggest heel. He held the WWE Championship for 434 days during 2011 to 13. In 2014, Punk left WWE due to creative differences and other factors. Punk had a stint in AEW in 2021 to 23 that again ended under controversial circumstances at AEW All In London. He is now back in WWE after 9 long years, and fans are hoping things don't go awry this time around. Are you happy that Punk is back in WWE after almost a decade? WWE makes major CM Punk announcement. CM Punk has shaken up WWE by returning when he did at WWE Survivor Series. On Raw this week, he made it clear that he was happy to be back in the company and even called it home, shocking fans. He also appeared to hint at a feud with Seth Rollins, mentioning how not everyone was happy that he was back. However, it might be a while before that feud finally takes place. Before that, things are not certain as to whom he will face first. Now, WWE has announced the future of CM Punk on on SmackDown. They announced that he will be on WWE SmackDown next week in his first appearance on the brand in a long time. The show will also be the annual tribute to the troops show the company has held traditionally. It seems that although there was animosity between Triple H and Punk when the star was fired from the company in 2014, things are better between them now. Punk's return took place days after the reported hour-long conversation between him and the game. Now it remains to be seen what Punk says on SmackDown and if Triple H has any special plans for the star's feud heading into Royal Rumble. Randy Orton attacked a WWE star backstage off-air. Randy Orton is a dangerous WWE star and is not usually someone others can approach without fear. Unfortunately for some, they still have to learn that lesson. That happened to one star backstage on SmackDown this week, and he suffered as a consequence. The star in question is Cameron Grimes. On the show, Orton was approached by Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, with both hoping to sign the Viper to their brand. While Pearce talked about how Orton's career on Raw was legendary, Aldis offered him a shot at the Bloodline, would put him on the shelf. In the end, an attack by the Bloodline clinched it for Orton. He took them out and decided to sign with SmackDown, much to Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce's dismay. However, after that, he hit Aldis with an RKO, clearly letting him know to expect the unexpected from him. Aldis was not the only one who suffered on SmackDown. Apparently, Cameron Grimes tried to introduce himself to Randy Orton backstage and got an RKO for his trouble. He said that he had learned his lesson. Same thing happened to me earlier today when I introduced myself to at Randy Orton Lesson Learned, said Grimes. Approaching Randy Orton is always a risk, and even off-air, the star does not appear to be holding himself back. Jade Cargill attacks Randy Orton. On this week's episode of WWE SmackDown, Randy Orton challenged Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. He also officially signed with the Blue brand at the end of the night. Following the segment, Jade Cargill took to Instagram to send a message to the Viper. Cargill recently signed with WWE, but has yet to make her in-ring debut. Reacting to Orton's segment from SmackDown, Cargill sent out a bold statement, claiming she has better abs than Orton. "My abs are better," wrote Cargill. Triple H has commented on Randy Orton's return at the Survivor Series Premium Live event. Orton was the 5th member of Cody Rhodes' team at War Games, as he helped the group secure a massive win over the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Speaking at the Survivor Series post-show press conference, the game claimed he was incredibly proud of his former Evolution stablemate. He said, "So incredibly proud of him where he is not only as a performer, but as a man, as a father, as a human being, just incredibly proud of Randy Orton. When you have the kind of injury that he had where things were touch and go. I've been there where they tell you might never do this again." Triple H added, "That's a rough experience. To be able to fight back what he went through, to be able to do what he had done and come back here tonight and have the moment that he had was just awesome." On this week's Raw, Orton defeated Dominic Mysterio in his return singles match. However, the Viper is now focused on feuding with the Bloodline and has signed with SmackDown. Are you excited about Orton's feud with the Bloodline? WWE referees forced to roll unconscious Jimmy Uso out of the ring after SmackDown. WWE officials had to roll a superstar out of the ring after Randy Orton's attack during the final moments of SmackDown. The final segment of SmackDown saw Orton hitting a thunderous RKO on Jimmy Uso. He didn't stop here though and attacked SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis with an RKO as well. After the show went off the air, Jimmy Uso kept selling Orton's RKO by staying down on the ring mat while the referees were pulling apart. The referees had no choice but to roll an unconscious Jimmy out of the ring. Orton chose the SmackDown brand over Raw and signed a deal with Nick Aldis during the final moments of tonight's show. Orton has already made it clear that he wants to destroy the Bloodline for what the faction did to him last year. The Bloodline put down Bro in May last year, after which the Viper went on a hiatus. Now that Orton is back on the Blue brand, it's likely that he will compete for Roman Reigns' undisputed WWE Universal title somewhere down the line. It has been a while since fans have seen a match pitting these two all-time greats. Drop your reactions to Jimmy Uso's hilarious antics after SmackDown went off the air.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for